Hi, and welcome to another edition of Know Your Schools on Waco ISD Channel 17. Today we're here with Mrs. Rebekah Mechell of Bells Hill Elementary. Welcome, Mrs. Mechell, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Just starting out, tell us a little bit about your background and where you're
Sure.
from and where you grew up.
Sure. I grew up in West. Both my husband and I went to high school in West and then went to college. So I went to Tarleton for my bachelor's and my master's degree, and then I came back home to teach elementary school. And
Where did you start out teaching?
I started out teaching at Rebekah Elementary. I taught second grade, and then I had the opportunity to loop to third grade. So that was a lot of fun.
How long have you been with Waco ISD?
This is year 11 that I have been with Waco. Before that, I taught elementary school. I came to Waco as an instructional specialist here at Bells Hill.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to do that for about 4 years. I learned a whole lot. It was a lot of fun, because I taught second and third grade, so then getting to know all the different grade levels, that was interesting, and I learned tons during that time. After that, I had the opportunity to go downtown, and I was the district assessment coordinator, so I did in charge of the state testing and accountability, and I did that for 3 years, and then about 3 years ago, assistant principal job came open here at Bells Hill, and I thought, man, I've got to go home. It's where my heart is. And so I did. I had the opportunity to come back here, and I've been here ever since. And then Mrs. Cone retired, and here I am, and I was able to step into her spot. So that's been exciting.
So you know Bells Hill. This is
I do.
not it's
Yes.
a new position, but you know the building, you know the community, you know the kids. What is it that you like best about Bells Hill Elementary, and why does it feel like home for you?
Sure. The kids. The kids and the parents and just the culture. When I came here, I just thought, wow, this is such a loving environment, and this is, I would want my kids to go to school here, and the teachers are wonderful, the kids are wonderful, the parents are great, just it felt like home. And so when I had that chance to come back here to be assistant principal and then move into this position, I thought, how can I not? So
now that you've done kind of a pretty wide gamut of different roles in the educational field, you've been officially principal of the campus for a little longer, but you have 1 week under your belt with kiddos on campus. How does this role feel different from even just last year when you were an AP on campus? How does that feel different for you?
Well, for one thing, you're the instructional leader for sure. You are in charge, and you are the final say for things, and you have to make sure that the kids are learning and they get fed, and that the teachers are teaching, and that we're providing the best opportunity for them to learn in.
Thinking about, Bells Hill is kind of one of those campuses that is praised a lot. Great things happen at Bells Hill. It's had a lot of positive energy around it. So now, what would you, now as a new principal, how would you set, what is your vision or your goal for Bells Hill? Where do you want to take it in this next year or two?
Well, I'd like to continue the family traditions that we have here, such as enchilada dinner. Mrs. Cone started that over 30 years ago. Keep that community going with our families and let them know that culture's still here. Improve learning, because I think that's something that we can always improve how we teach as teachers, and improve how we teach those students so that they can make that next step or reach that next goal, whatever that goal is for that child.
Great. Well, think about, in this past week so far, is there any little story that has stood out, anything that's exciting that's happened, or, because everything is kind of, you can't make plans like we said earlier.
Right.
It's hard to make plans, especially when you're dealing with kiddos, especially elementary. So anything in this first week that has kind of been a surprise or something exciting that's happened on campus?
Well, I think every day is excitement. Every day their kids are learning. And I just think that, like we talked about earlier, every day is a new day in education. And so I wouldn't say there has been much of a surprise, because I think every day is kind of a surprise. You make sure you get your work done so that you're ready for whatever comes your way.
Yeah, so, taking on this new role in Waco ISD, you are a familiar face. Everyone knows you quite well. Has anything surprised you about kind of trying to shift gears? Anything that you that you weren't prepared for, or anything that has kind of set you back at all?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think that's one plus that I have is that, I know who to contact for this, and I know who to contact for that, and I know my teachers on campus. I know how well they perform. I know how my assistant principal works, and I have a wonderful secretary who helps, and a great office staff up front that's greeting the parents and guests when they come into our building. So I wouldn't say too much.
So it's a pretty nice segue. There's not a lot of newness.
Right.
You do have a new AP on staff, you know, filling your shoes
Yes.
that you left, and so. But other than that, I think it should be a neat transition for you to kind of step into that new role. But
That's exciting.
you know, anything you already mentioned earlier about the enchilada dinner. Anything else? You know, if we've got anyone watching at home, whether they're a staff member of Waco ISD or they're maybe a new parent for Bells Hill or someone in the community, what would you want to tell them about Bells Hill?
Yeah, well, we love for parents to be involved. We do a parent night at least once a month for parents to come up here and be involved. Just meet the teacher. I dressed up as Cat in the Hat because our theme this year is Dr. Seuss, and we have truffle trees in the hallways and the different Dr. Seuss sayings. And I dressed up as Cat in the Hat, and a little boy came up to me and he said, "Miss, are you going to have the Seussical?" Because I played in the Seussical how many ever years ago when he was in second grade. And I said, "Well, you are so lucky. I'm gonna have to send you an invitation because we are having that Seussical this year." So, you know, for any parents that had a child in the Seussical, that was kind of a tradition for a couple of years, we are gonna revamp that this year and have the Seussical. And then on top of that, the annual enchilada dinner, I think, is a big thing that's really important to our community.
Great. Well, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day today, and you know, it's the new year is often started, and I mean, I'm sure you guys are have a great start so far, and we appreciate you taking the time to visit with us today.
Well, thank you.
All right. Again, that was Mrs. Rebekah Mechell from Bells Hill Elementary. Thank you for watching today, and check out more programming on Waco ISD Channel 17.